New Thought Media Network. We are a global broadcast network of positive music, media, and entertainment, inspiring humanity's evolution along the journey of enlightenment and creating a world of love, peace, empowerment, and prosperity for all. New Thought Media Network. Positively inspiring.
Welcome to Girls Behaving Metaphysically. Your hosts are two girls who believe that life is awesome, that laughter heals, and that it's possible to find deep spiritual insights in everyday experience.
Here come the girls. It's more than practical. Here come the girls. Way more than merely factual. If you want to know the secrets of a life, it's free. Listen to Girls Behaving Metaphysically. Listen to Girls Behaving Metaphysically.
Hello. Hello, we are here. We're a little bit late, but we are here. And what does time really mean anyway? We are here in our metaphysical sense, being the girls we are, behaving metaphysically. So welcome. I am Robin Rice Olmsted.
I'm Dr. Natasha Wilson. And like Robin said, we're girls behaving metaphysically at the end of 2025. Can you believe this, Robin? It is a trip.
At the end of 2025. Geez. Thank God there's no time and space, really, because it sure seems like it goes fast.
Yeah, it does.
Today is my godson's 18th birthday.
Oh, wow. And when did you start raising him?
When he was 3.
Time is crazy.
Well, and when did you meet him? You met him. Well, how old was he? That was like 6 years ago now.
No, Robin, that was not 6 years ago. That was in 2023 or 2022.
22 then, because when we were in Oakland.
Yeah, you were in Oakland for sure. You were in Oakland. Yeah, because I got to your house, you weren't there, and I didn't even see the guest bed. I just went to your bed. I didn't know.
That's all right, because we are one. So
like I put clean sheets and there was the guest bed, and then you go get in my bed. I was like, I don't know.
It's all good. Anyway, so we are girls behaving metaphysically and reminiscing in that metaphysical way. So thank you for joining us. Please feel free to put in the chat where you're chiming in from and what's on your mind today. We have been doing the 4 Agreements.
Yes.
The book by Don Miguel Ruiz.
Yes, we have.
And it's been really good. I mean, I've really enjoyed it. And I feel like reading one agreement at a time and being with it for a week for me is different than it's been done. I mean, for me, and so I was able to contemplate it more, where I'd read the whole chapter at one time, instead of trying to be reading a book and getting through. So I'd stop, you know what I mean? And so and then talking about it every week and just thinking about the agreement has been really interesting.
Yeah. When I work with it with myself consciously, or when I work with it with clients, often we'll spend a whole month on just one agreement.
Yeah.
A whole month. We'll read it, and then for one full month, the focus is the practice. For one full month. Yeah.
It's a good way to do it. Yeah.
Transforming. Robin, before I forget, I just want to also, if you're joining us, please don't forget to like, the podcast. Don't forget to share the podcast. This is really important in the YouTube algorithm. And yeah, it spreads this out further, wider. And Girls Behaving Metaphysically, we are dedicated to being a grounding presence in the world through spirituality and through fun and through deep questioning, and yeah, help us spread. So that's my request.
Thank you. Thank you for saying that. And actually, if you're joining with us for the first time, what you need to know is that I am in the United States. I am in Albuquerque, New Mexico. And Natasha joins us from Brisbane, Australia.
Yes.
So we are Girls Behaving Metaphysically on all angles of the planet. We are everywhere. And speaking of Australia, we have to have a moment. What a horrible, horrible situation this week. I mean, there were many in the world, but
yeah,
you know, especially something that was kicking off the holy days. And yeah, I mean, I'd love to hear from your perspective since you're over there, because I'm sure you're hearing it differently and getting different news, sort of, kind of, than we are.
Well, I don't know if I'm getting different news than you all are. What I have been paying attention to, well, one, my daughters and I decided we were going to celebrate Hanukkah. So we've been lighting our Hanukkah candles and doing the prayers and living out the values, which, you know, we already planned to do our Kwanzaa candles, and we're all holidays household. So like, for instance, we still have our Halloween decorations up. We leave them up all year. We leave the Christmas tree up all year. And we have this 3D Elphaba that's on our front door. And we've just decorated her with Christmas lights now. And we have the Hanukkah candle in the window. So we're all, you know, we're a multi-faith household.
Girls Behaving Metaphysically.
Hello. So, but yeah, I don't know if the news is any different here than what I am getting here is more of sort of like the policy outcomes as a result of this, and tightening of gun laws, which are already pretty tight and strict, but they're getting stricter now, which I think is.
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
No, I'm done. You can ask.
I just wanted to say, just in case somehow anybody didn't know, or you're listening to this later and time is a blur, what happened was there was a celebration on the beach in Australia, and
the first day of Kwanzaa, Bondi Beach in New South Wales.
Yeah, the first day of Hanukkah, and
it was a Hanukkah celebration,
right?
Yeah,
and a gunman or several, two gunmen.
Know of,
gunned down. I don't know what the total is now.
I think it was 14, if I'm not mistaken, the last time I checked. Yeah, it was a tragedy. And I think it was also that same week, there was a mass shooting at Brown University there in the US. Yeah. Yes. But the last mass shooting in Australia, I believe, was in 1994. And then they they passed all these really strict gun laws, and people like willingly went and handed in all their guns after that massacre. It was a school massacre. And the government destroyed all those guns, and the laws have been really strict, and they're still strict. Like, you can only purchase a gun under certain circumstances. Like if you live in a remote area, right? And you need it as a deterrent for like certain types of wildlife or something like that. Like, it's really, really strict, really strict. And so, yeah, it's just, yeah. It was sad. I was sad. I was angry. It brought me back to, Sandy Hook,
right?
Because Sandy Hook literally happened a couple weeks after my two brothers were murdered. And I remember just being so fed up with like gun violence in general and just like violence in general. But it was very sad, and I'm holding lots of prayer and just being in deep solidarity with those who are suffering.
Yeah, there's just so much going on in the world, and it was a tough week. You can come on as our producer and tell us that, but you can't whisper to me during the thing. We have a guest producer today. We have a guest producer that's trying to give me facts as we talk.
Yeah, pop in, Reverend Gill. Pop in. We want to.
Oh, there I am.
So you're gonna have to mute.
Oh, I gotta mute.
Somebody has to mute. Yeah.
Okay. So, it's been 3 days since the last mass shooting in the United States. As of 2025, this point in 2025, there have been 468 in America, compared to your last mass shooting in what, 96 or something?
95. I think it was 94. I think it was 94. It could be 96, but I think it was 94.
So repeat that stat again. 468
this year.
This year. That's what I thought you said.
7,000 since the 1st of 2013. And we don't need any stricter gun laws here.
You can come on screen.
Aren't I on screen?
No.
Oh, I thought it was.
You're just yelling across the room.
Okay.
Gil and I are a married couple. If you'd like to see that show, it's Wednesday at noon Pacific, 1 o'clock.
Hello. I'm the facts person.
So, you want to say it again?
Well, I can say it again. 7,000 since 2013, the beginning of 2013.
So that's 7,000 mass shootings, or 7,000 people died. 7,000 mass shootings.
Which means probably 14 to 18,000 people at least, I would guess.
And just this year, almost
this 500. Year, almost 500.
That's crazy.
Isn't it?
It's insane.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
And what I'm interested in is that in Australia, they are immediately looking at policy.
Oh, yeah.
Here,
right away. Not even looking at it. It's already started.
Nothing's happening here. It's not even being talked about. I mean, Brown was a blip.
I heard more about Australia than I did about Brown.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and I think it's because it's such an anomaly here at this point. Yeah, which is why it was getting so much attention. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so thank you, producer Gil. Thanks for jumping in today and being the producer.
You're welcome.
And also for bringing these facts, because I think reflecting on them is so important. Like, before you leave, Reverend Gil, like, one of the things I remember at the height of COVID, being here in Queensland, like, and watching the news in the United States about COVID, and I remember having this realization that in one day in the US, I mean, it was like I can't remember the exact number, but when I put it in my head, I realized that was like the entire population of my suburb that died in one day. So it would be like if I walked outside and my whole, not my block, not the next, like my whole, and Forest Lake is a big suburb. That would be like if everybody in my suburb died in one day. And I just remember, I just remember like being, and it's the same sort of experience that I'm having right now around nearly 500 mass shootings in a calendar year, and nothing happens.
Yeah, and I know the populations are definitely different in terms of size, but I
But
can't
still,
imagine, and our population is 500 times larger than yours.
mhm.
That would not make sense.
But like one day, it would be like my whole suburb wiped out. Like what, 100,000 people in my suburb, like in one day. Like that, I remember that hitting me, and I'm like, what is the like, put the mask on, stay home. I remember just feeling this like this is big. Sometimes I don't know what it is about the willingness to confront reality and truth. Like, what makes it just so hard when it has these really intense public health implications? Like right now, we are being warned, if we travel to the US, make sure we have all our vaccinations, because there's a resurgence of measles.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we're being told by travel agents, go to the US only if you have to. Because between the measles and possible detainment at the border, like when you're coming in, depending on your political views or things you've published, or if you made political commentary on your social media, like they have the right to like seize your devices. So they're recommending, don't go. If you got to go, take a different device. Don't take your regular device. Like, these are just things but also like not,
That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah. It is. That's exactly it. And I think we don't need to try to make it sane. We need to keep calling it exactly what it is. And it's crazy.
You know, in part, I think it's because America has come to believe that there truly are alternate facts, that you can have different sets of facts for the same event or the same situation. You can have different sets of opinions, but you can't have different sets of facts.
For sure.
You know?
Yeah,
Somehow
absolutely.
we bought into that here.
But we don't have an option at this moment because we hear the different set of facts all the time. I mean, it's crazy to me that the news can really be so different depending upon your political view, because it used to be the news was pretty much, solid down the line, and like your personal whatever preferences were out of the way. But now it's just it's like a production. It's a show.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But I did hear today that the board that Trump has appointed at the Kennedy Center has voted, and it will now be called the Trump Kennedy Performing Arts Center or whatever. So good times.
Wait, the board has been removed that he appointed at the Kennedy Center?
He appointed a board at the Kennedy Center and then took a vote about whether or not there should be a name change.
Oh.
And there was. They said he's done so much for funding and for the building, the what is it? The construction of the building, so to speak, whatever it's called. That yes, he should definitely be Trump Kennedy Center.
Okay. I just have to say this, okay?
Yeah.
Last week, okay, I've gotten rid of all my social media. The only social media that I have not gotten rid of is like an Instagram account, and that's because I can't, for some reason, Instagram won't give me my password. But I've been able to get rid of like a really old Facebook account that I was locked out of for like a really long time. But it was like my account where that was still connected to my brothers who were murdered in 2012. So it was just so weird. Anyways, so I finally got all that stuff deleted within the last like couple months. And anyways, I was going on to try to delete this one Instagram account that I haven't been able to successfully delete. And I saw this post about the East Wing of the White House. And I just had to check to see, like, is this real? Is this like an AI thing? And so like, and then when I went and got like a credible news source to sort of like look at it, I literally started crying. And I was like, I know that that building was built by enslaved Black people. I get it. And that enslavement of Black people is a part of the American legacy that I think we really still have a lot of work to do around, which is not going to happen in this administration because they're making anything that has to do with race like almost illegal, or racism. And I cried. I just like, I cried. I just cried. I remember like having these moments of watching Michelle Obama, like when she would do things in the East Wing or put on events in the East Wing, mostly around like getting kids like healthy and moving, and just like, I remember Dr. Jill Biden, and
legendary movement.
I just grieve. I was so affected by that.
Yeah, it's been very talked about here. I mean, for a long time, every late night host was, talking about the East Wing and everything, and it's just devastating. Like, I don't know. I mean, we grew up with this vision and this understanding of certain things in our country meaning something, and
even if that meaning is like not clean, even if that meaning holds contradictions, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's still ours. And I think that's the thing. All this stuff is happening to our country. I have not relinquished my American citizenship. I remember Marianne Williamson on that call being like, yeah, don't do that if you can hang in there. But when I think about, I'm a tax citizen here, but I still have to file taxes in the US. I don't have to I pay them here because they have an agreement between the US and Australia. And from what I'm understanding, they're trying to end that agreement with Australia. But just the thought of my tax dollars being used to destroy the East Wing, being used to kill fishermen in the Caribbean, being used to fund what is happening in Palestine, like it is in Gaza. It is just like, I don't know. I have to be mindful because I'm like, okay, this is how the American Revolution started, right? No representation without tax, no taxation without representation. And right now we are not being represented. Our money is just being funneled to people who don't need any more money. I'm so over it.
Yeah, there's a lot there.
No, I'm over it.
Did you want to say something, Gil?
Well, I was just going to comment that on the East Wing thing, I don't know if you found it, but originally the statement was the East Wing wouldn't be touched. And then the next statement was it would just affect the outside portico a little bit. And the next thing after that, they were ripping down the walls.
And apparently the Rose Garden is gone as well now.
Well, it's there. It's just
they covered it over.
But there are no roses. Marble. Yeah, there are no roses.
Oh, I think there's roses. The roses were always kind of around it.
Okay.
And then the middle part had grass, is how I understand it.
Okay.
I thought they paved over the whole thing.
Me too. The images that I saw were it looked like paved over.
Whatever it is, it honestly, it doesn't matter. The fact that we're talking about it makes me know that it matters. Whatever they did was enough to get people talking. And and forget what they did. The thing is, all the things that they're doing, and that we are not having a say in it, or that they, are that he didn't follow protocol to even do any of that demolition.
Well,
Right.
because
No, none of the protocol was, there's a system to do that. And he didn't
yeah,
follow it at all.
he's a criminal. Okay.
Yeah.
I need to be careful. This is why I won't travel to the US right now. One, because I mean, I have all my vaccinations, but two, I am not interested in being detained. I told you that last time, Robin. I said, like, I don't want to end up in Guantanamo because I do have very strong political opinions. You know, like I was a delegate for Bernie Sanders. I'm very politically, my dissertation, like I write about politics, right? So, because the political is personal. It's not just an old feminist saying. And I have no desire to be detained or disappeared or any of that crap. So, and I've already had colleagues that have been detained because of their
Really?
scholarship.
Well, and back to where we are, you know, that's part of, I think that's part of what we're doing here, you know, because being metaphysical and, you know, following certain things that we think doesn't mean
Up, Robin. And you're frozen.
Great. Can you talk? Are you frozen?
No,
I think you're both good now, aren't you?
okay, yeah, I think you're back, Robin.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's, you know, it's about taking a different stance on, I don't know, can you say it better, Gil?
Well, it's, you know, it's really looking and going, what truly do we see as what our country is supposed to be, and holding that vision. And like you said, it hurt your heart to see that happen, you know, to see that. And that's because it touches you. So it's not a matter of somebody being, you know, acting against the fact that they did this. It's about how should we operate together? How are we being represented? We need to be represented. How is that happening? You know, and we have to look at how can that be done and advocate for that. And it may, in fact, be revolution. It may be who knows what, you know.
I mean, I think if we get real, this was at the heart of the American Revolution. We were being taxed, but our interests were not being represented. And so this is exactly what's happening now. And who's getting taxed? The middle class and people who are just barely surviving, because the middle class is disappearing, right? And so we're who getting taxed. And then we have these billionaires, right? And I'm of the political belief now, this is something that's evolved in me over time, is that we don't need to have billionaires, because a person can literally not spend $1 billion in their lifetime. Like it is, and to be a trillionaire, which is now what Elon Musk is like evidence of the asymmetry and the imbalance and the inequity. While we're just trying to make a living, you know, like we're sitting here like our show so it can grow in the algorithm, and maybe, you know, maybe one day this can be a part of something that helps us make a living. You know, there are people who have amounts of money that is really like government funded contracts, our tax dollars, and we're barely surviving, or we're surviving when really what we could be doing is thriving financially if the political system had a different agenda that served the people, not the powerful.
And it did to some degree when we had a tax system that said you had to pay 95% of your wages once you hit a certain point, or whatever the number was, somewhere up like that. Which all that did was tell corporations it's not worth paying your people that much, which kept the things down. What if every contract that the government put out required to know what the top echelon was getting paid and had limits? They
Yeah.
could, if your CEO is making more than X amount, you can't take a contract. Period. I don't care what you got for us.
Yeah.
That's the political kind of thing we have. We don't have to take people's money away. We don't have to, but there is a way we can make it more reasonable.
More equitable. And when I
Yeah,
say equitable, I mean more fair, you
yeah.
know? Like what's happening now is it's just unfair. It's also unjust. Not the, in America, the United States is still the richest country in the world. And one of the only countries that still does not have universal health care,
Yep.
does not have a universal welfare system for people, right? Australia is not perfect, not by a long shot. But one thing I can say is I'm happy to actually, when I get my taxes, I get like a outline of where my tax dollars go. They tell me like which government agencies, and at the top are social welfare programs. Somewhere in the middle is the military, and somewhere way at the bottom are like contracts to like different, like I'll have to show you all one day what the tax receipt looks like that you get from what's the ATO, the equivalent of the IRS here. So you literally see where your money is going. Most of our money goes to funding healthcare and social welfare programs and childcare. That's the priority, and helping people buy houses and get housed. A certain percentage of it goes towards closing the gap, and that what closing the gap is a form of reparations for Indigenous people, Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people, programs that are funded that way. And again, Australia is not perfect by a long shot. Lots of racism, lots of sexism, all the isms, and these things are still happening.
Well, and I think that's part of what, there's all the things we're talking about now, but the other part of it is if you go back in government, it's never been clean or perfect, like you said, but also there was a sense, even when people that I disagreed with were president, there was still a sense that they were taking care of, they were taking care of the people. But it wasn't divided. This is so divisive, and so, I mean, it's blatant and out in the open, like discriminating against almost everybody. If you're not in that category of income or that color of skin or whatever it is, and so it's just so interesting how it. I mean, it really like did a 360-degree flip from the past for me.
Yeah. I think, in so many ways, because I moved through this world as a person with brown skin and who's read as female, I didn't experience this as a 380 or 180 flip. The way I experience it is as this extreme expression of what was always trending, always. And because of our unwillingness, I think, and this is the part of Marianne Williamson that I was really supporting, right? Because she was willing to give voice to that. Like, have to find a way to address the historical atrocities, the historical injustices, if we want to create a more perfect union. And right now, it's just like the US, it's like it chose no. It chose no. And it's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking. It's really heartbreaking. Because I still believe there's so much potential there. I still think, even though the world order is realigning, right? Like Australia and the European Union, and Japan, like they, you know, like they're doing their things without the US. They're moving forward. It's very different in some ways. I still think that we have a chance. And to me, this is the metaphysical piece. So whenever we see something in the physical world, for me, the question becomes, what is happening on the spiritual level that this is what we're seeing manifest in the physical world, right? And I really think, I remember my great grandma saying, and she used to say this about, she just say this about white people, because my great grandma, she worked for white people like her whole life. But she was like, things have to like hit them like a brick, right? To see that, right? If we sink, they sink. But you know, like it just has to hit them like a brick.
Right.
And I think we're having that opportunity to sort of realize we're getting hit with the brick, and we can do two things. We can keep on denying that we've been hit with a brick and just like be like, oh, the blood. I'm just bleeding because, you know, a brick fell out of the sky. Or we can take this opportunity and like look at the brick and be like, okay, what needs to change inside myself? What do I need to do to confront my own fears? Whether it's fears that live within me, about me, or fears about the other, right? Because we really do sink or swim together.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. I didn't expect this conversation.
Well, I didn't either, but we have given our producer a break because he didn't have to go to a commercial break. And we only have about 12 minutes left. So what I'm suggesting is we will come back in the new year with the fourth agreement and wind it all up. And I think what we need to do in this moment after this discussion is pull a card. And I would even suggest let's pull a card to take us out into the new year, to really get us through this holiday season, to know what's being called forth. And this is where you put up the banner that says card pull of the week.
Yeah. So what if you pulled a card for all the things that we've talked about this political thing right now?
Okay. So I was going to use the Sufi tarot, and I think I'm still going to use that. And before I forget, I just want to share this with everybody. And I'm not sponsored by these people or anything. This is this Australian company. They make this drink. I don't know where the camera is. Oh, it's right here, right? This is something I've discovered that is called functional non-alcohol. So it has adaptogenics and nootropics that really help settle the nervous system. I have ordered 3 cases. They are fabulous. I just want to say that. So anybody whose New Year's intention is to drink less, check them out, because I'm like, I might see if they can sponsor us, actually. I'll see. I'll reach out, because they did ask me to give some feedback. So
there you go. Then we could just change our logo a little and have their drinks in our hand, pouring them into the campaign.
I'm going to reach out to them. I'm going to be like, look, I'm plugging y'all stuff because I love it. It's really it's so supportive of like one's nervous system. Like, and I think we can all use a little bit of nervous system regulation in this world right now without
between the news and all the epidemics going on. I mean, there's more than the measles here. There's the flu and COVID, and it's craziness.
Yeah.
Craziness.
It is. All right. So am I pulling this card now? Is that what we're doing?
Pull it now.
All right. Robin, you want to just sort of, or Reverend Gill, give a call? Oh, well, I'll just say what popped out. Okay. So we'll just go with that. Let me see. The card at the top is this. So 3 cards fell out. I'm going to go with the middle card. So it is the dervish. which I don't know what it means. So I got to get the book, guys. So give
The
me 1 second.
whirling
I was
dervish.
gonna say, is that what that is?
That sounds like a plethora of activity going on, which is pretty much what we talked about.
Robin, do you remember when I was going to that interfaith seminary in Maine, and we had a Sufi teacher come in to work with us? Like it was the week, it was
Yeah.
a month or whatever. We were working with the principles of Islam. Oh, here it is. I found it. The page popped right onto it. Yay, look at that. And I had they taught us to do the sort of the whirl, like there's a technique involved in the whirl. And oh my God, I did it. And I remember like our whole class was doing it. And I just kept doing it because at one point, and I think this is because like I love movement as a part of prayer, and that's what it is. But there was this point in the whirling where every single person that was there just became like points of light. So it was like almost like I was in the cosmos. Every single point, I was just in, like I felt like I was in a spiral gap. Every single person became a point of light. And when I finally stopped, I have no longer idea how long I was doing it, but everyone had already stopped. And I just immediately realized that I'm in the heart of God. It was so profound. And so my prayer after that was I just remember being so intense. So, and then, you know me, I was like, I gotta go to Turkey so I can go study this.
Yeah, you're a little impulsive on those things.
I know, but I didn't do it. So I wasn't that impulsive. So this is the card, Dervish. And so in the Rider Reith Tarot, this responds to the card that's called the Hermit. And so it came up in the reverse. So when it's upright, it means it points to solitude, soul searching, wisdom and quiet introspection, meditation, contemplation, self-reflection, quest for answers, and comfort with being unconventional. Now, when it comes up in the reverse, it can signal a sense of isolation, loneliness, feeling like an outsider, ignoring one's inner voice, disconnection from divine guidance, which I feel like is what's happening in our society collectively. Yeah. So the dervish or hermit in the traditional tarot is a sage, a mystic who has removed their ego from the center of the universe and placed the divine there instead. Although the word dervish is associated with renunciation, to be a dervish today does not necessarily mean embracing asceticism in the literal sense. Rather, it refers to a spiritual state of being that is connected to something other than our physical lives. The dervish learns to be in the world, but not of the world. Connected, yes, yet disconnected. Standing at the door between the inner and outer realms. The dervish literally means doorway. It represents a state of oneness with the divine and simultaneous unity with all creation. When this card appears for you, you are being guided to place the silence and stillness within yourself. You have been caught up in the rat race or drama of the world. Do you need to disconnect and take some time out to reflect on what is important to you and for you? This card comes as a strong message of the need for introspection and inner reflection to examine the effect of the outer world and the effect that the outer world is having on you, and to focus on your own needs. There is an ancient tale of a dervish who would knock on people's doors in the middle of the night saying, "Awaken, awaken." If the dervish arrives at your door, then this is a call to awaken to a new perspective, a new way of being. You're being guided to your inner wisdom, to the light within you that often dulls in the haze of frenzied outer activities. So here's the contemplation and the affirmation. So the contemplation is, what is my relationship with solitude? Do I take time out for myself away from the noise of the outer world? And the affirmation is, I honor the guidance that comes from within.
There we have it.
I really think beautiful note for this, exactly what we talked about.
Yeah. It is. It's a beautiful thing to take into the end of the year. And just to truly be able to be with that and, be that. Again, what we're called to do on the planet is to be love, and how can we remain in that state during all the things that appear to be different than that? So it is a good contemplation. Yeah, it's a good contemplation and to take out into the world as we close out this 2025 year. What we know is that we'll return in January and continue to explore the 4 agreements and the depth of who we are and why we're here, and because each and every one of you make a difference on the planet, even when it looks like this, like a mess, or like maybe it looks great to you, but whatever, when it appears to be not harmonious, And so we just let's take that out into the holidays. And I actually just read a thing that said that Time Magazine announced its picks for People of the Year, and they didn't include Donald Trump on that list, and so they're expecting they're expecting some pushback from MAGA or something. And what I think is, I want to send prayers to Donald Trump, actually, and hope that somewhere in his being he can find that place of really living into being the person of the year for himself, instead of having it to be outside of himself with all of us and his name on buildings and his lawsuits and firing people and all of those things. And those are just the things we know about.
Yeah. And that's a really beautiful prayer, Robin. And it is this, not that it's evidence is needed, but it is evidence of just how beautiful your heart is and your willingness to see unity even in the face of so much division. What I would request, if our guest producer would bless us with that, is also a prayer for those who are suffering because of the unhealed state of the person who we call Donald Trump.
So if you want to take us out with that, with a short.
All right. I am knowing right here and right now that each and every soul is absolutely required and filled with the Spirit, because there can be no other way. Each of us is simply a representation of the One. Each of us is just an aspect of the One. And so I am knowing that all persons are valued, all persons are seen, all persons are allowed to find their way. And in the midst of that, we would pray that those that are struggling so hard find a way to release, that they are given the release mechanism for themselves, that they can step into the fullness of who they've always been, that we can each step into the fullness of who we've always been. And from that space of fullness, we can allow our cup to overflow and to continue to touch the world all around us. And so I just invite everyone to turn within, to know the truth of who I am, who you are, who is that? And to know that spirit is always there, and there is no place we can escape that. For we are in the absolute image of spirit. And we have been created whole, perfect, and complete. So I just speak that, hold that, give thanks for it, and allow it to be. So it is.
And so it is.
Happy holy days to all. And we will see you in 2026.
Yes. All right.
All right. Be the love, everybody. Bye.
Bye.
New Thought Media Network. We are a global broadcast network of positive music, media, and entertainment, inspiring humanity's evolution along the journey of enlightenment and creating a world of love, peace, empowerment, and prosperity for all. New Thought Media Network. Positively inspiring.